One of my favourite cartoon series of the 80s was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or Hero Turtles in the UK. Now I didn't have a Nintendo console back then, or any console for that matter, but I did have friends that owned one, but none of which had the Turtles game. Maybe if there was a Master System version, then I'd probably have played that one. But I can imagine any fan of the cartoon who owned a NES would have snapped this one up instantly. Go on, have a guess what the plot is. Obviously, April O'Neil has been kidnapped. But no one asks why. What use is April to the Shredder? I mean, you kidnap someone for leverage in return for something, but Shredder doesn't want anything from the Turtles. At least with Bowser, he wants to wed the princess and pork her against her will, which is great. But Shredder doesn't fancy April. The Turtles are basically homeless freaks of nature that have nothing of value. It says in the manual that she is to be brainwashed into becoming part of the Foot Clan. Could have chosen any random fucker really, but we'll proceed. The main mission is to stop Shredder from using the Life Transformer gun, which turns mutants back to their human form. You take to the streets where it's an overhead view and there are open manholes you can walk into. Each manhole will be a small level with various enemies. When you enter a manhole, this goes from an overhead view to a side-on view. You can choose any one of the 4 turtles by pausing the game and selecting one from the list. Each turtle has a different weapon to attack with. Leonardo has his katana blades, Raphael has his sais, Michelangelo has his nunchucks, and Donatello has his bow. On screen you'll have your current score and high score, as well as your turtle's health meter and boxes where your extra power-ups will be. You can change your weapon by using the select button. All you need to do is find April, which isn't that hard, but if you haven't gone down the right manhole then you'll be up against some enemies. Now depending on which turtle you've selected, will depend on how long you're going to survive. And from what I've worked out, in just my opinion, Donatello and Leonardo are the best for attacking because of their weapons. Both of their weapons have long reach, and if you look carefully, the final attack frame shows each weapon sprite is larger at the end of the attack. This works out well when there are enemies high above or below. Michelangelo and Raphael's weapon are short range and aren't much use against enemies that are fast and take more than one hit to defeat. You can pick up items such as pizza for health and sub-weapons such as shurikens and boomerangs. These can become extremely helpful when a level has multiple enemies on screen. But is this game any good? No. To begin with, I didn't think it was so bad. That's until you get a little further and the levels nail you right up the shitter. The enemies come thick and fast, and if you're skilled enough to beat them, then that's fine. But this suffers like most NES games, respawning enemies. These fuckers won't give up reappearing and wiping your health out in no time. But what's worse, if you're using your favourite turtle and you lose a life, then you lose that turtle and have to use a different one. I've heard the controls are terrible, but I didn't find them too bad. What is bad are the level designs. Some are okay, where it's simple jump up to a higher platform. Then you'll get something that looks simple, but when it comes to actually getting across, it becomes near impossible. It just ends up being pure fluke that you make it across. Some of the bosses can be a challenge, but others like this just become laughable. And what about the Technodrome and Shredder? Well, I have no idea. I got to the infamous water level, and after that, I'd had enough. The difficulty ramps up quickly in this game, and stupid obstacles and having to drive around in the party wagon, blowing up barricades to find new routes, just suck the fun out of this game. I appreciate they wanted to have elements of exploration to find the correct route through the game, but for me, just having levels one after the other would have been fine. You can go into one manhole and find you can't go anywhere, so you have to find another manhole that puts you at the other end, only to find there was fuck all worth getting from doing that apart from a slice of pizza. If this game had levels with a start and end, and a boss after the second or third stage, a difficulty setting that toned down the amount of enemies, better level designs that didn't fuck you over, then this could have been a good game. And I'm surprised that Konami thought that this was acceptable for a Turtles game. I mean, at the time of release, the Turtles were fucking huge, and most kids wanted everything that had their faces on. Graphically, it's not too bad. The music is good and the sound effects are good, but the gameplay is shit, and becomes a long chore rather than loads of fun. Most of your health or lives will be lost trying to make your way to another platform. I give this 42%.